Turn it up some. All right, boys, this is their favorite song. You know that, right? So if we play it good and loud, she might get up and dance again. Oh, she put it. All right, IB students, it's ready for week 4 distance learning. Obviously, we had the big announcement last week that we won't be returning to school, but guess what? You guys all can look forward to the fact that next year you'll have me all year again. So, if that doesn't just make you so excited. I just wanted to spend a little time. This is the first time I've done one of these for you guys specifically, just to talk about this last week of the case study number 1. Basically, we have a 4-day week. So instead of having Monday through Friday, Friday is technically not like an attendance day. So you don't have to do any of the work on that day. So what I did is I divided things into 4 days. It's really not that complex. Day 1 is pretty much just your reading day. So if you go into the discussion, you basically have to read about one of these sections in the reading that's down below. All right. And so what this is kind of setting you up for, if you want to read about more, in here, I already have like the reading. A big part of this is just trying to kind of focus on one areas of achievement in the civil rights movement. So if you look back the last couple of weeks, we kind of looked at kind of the origins of the civil rights movement. Then we got into kind of the mobilization aspects. And then last week really highlighting the ideas of Project C, and then the idea of the school desegregation. And so the idea then this week is to pick one of these things from the discussion on Monday. And then on Tuesday, you're going to create basically a graphic organizer that explains the cause, impact, and effect of one of these events. So obviously, kind of a preview assignment, read about one of them, and just kind of explain it in a paragraph, then get into a little bit more detail and create a graphic organizer. You can use the same tool that we did a couple weeks ago, or you can just, draw it out. And a lot of you did really well with that. I'd like to see a little bit more structure and a little bit more detail with some of them, because some of you really kind of just mailed it in. And the reason for this is because the assignment that you're going to have that on day 3 is to basically create an essay or record a Flipgrid response that answers one of these questions. And there's 2 things on this that I've noticed from the Flipgrid that we had last week, and then also some of the other ideas of like what you're answering. The essay format I'm looking at here for this is not like 5 paragraphs. I'm really wanting to look for maybe 1 or 2 paragraph response that really gets into not like what it was, but get into some of these things like why, how was it successful? What was significant about that campaign? Why did he go there? And I want to get like a real specific opinion from you and your evaluation that answers these questions, not just, a basic summarized response. All right. And then also the idea of trying to make some connections between what was an effect that we're learning about here and kind of drawing it back to the other things we talked about with the NAACP, the Little Rock 9, the ideas of Project C, and trying to really kind of look at that civil rights movement in the South and apply it to some of the ideas of what happens after 1964 into the late 1960s. All right. And then the last thing you're going to do is after that Flipgrid, your summative is basically an essay. And so this is kind of the idea of this is kind of the essay that you're doing as a formative, and that should set you up, because the summative on Friday is going to be directly, or on Thursday, sorry, is going to be directly linked to whatever essay you cover. All right. So you'll have some choices in what you did for that, and then extending it a little bit when you do the summative. And this won't open until Thursday, and you have until Friday at midnight. So I'm not going to extend it further than into the next week. Be advised that Monday, May 4th is also a non-distance learning day, so there won't be any work on that Monday. But just to give you an idea basically is that in this, you're basically going to choose one of these and then write it in a 5-paragraph essay. So I really want you to think about like that. The Wednesday day 3 assignment is more of just kind of like maybe you're taking your graphic organizer and putting the basic elements into a paragraph so that I can read it and respond to it, because the summative, you do it once and then that's it. All right. And a lot of what goes into this question and the grading, it is, if you notice, timed. So once you open it, it's going to be a timed 60-minute thing. All right. And the idea of this is that you're kind of, getting into that role of timed essays that we kind of have stepped away from. All right. So that's the work this week. If you have any questions, obviously you can hit me up in my office hours. Most everybody in here is really doing a good job in both 6th and 7th hours. So I really don't have any complaints. If you do get a message from me, it's usually just because, I haven't seen you do some work, but I'm starting to pick up on everybody's work habits, like who works at night, who's working on stuff in the morning during the day, who waits to do this class until the end of the week. So I kind of figure that out now, and I think I'm getting a hang of that and the understanding of that. So again, don't forget, it's only 4 days. I won't have office hours on Friday nor next Monday. And so neither will any of your other teachers, so if they haven't told you that. And then other than that, have a good week. Enjoy the warming weather. Enjoy the last week of April. We're getting into some nicer weather here, and hopefully that'll make you a little bit happier and smile and get outside and just enjoy the sunlight. And just make sure that you don't ingest any cleaning supplies like our president suggested. But the sun is good for you, so do enjoy that if you can. And we'll talk to you later.